Something to report?
I'm here to turn in any bounty.
We pay by the finger. What do you have for me? Gil Antrim. Real name, Guillaume. Duly processed by a freelancer on behalf of Spacer's Choice. I remember him. Was just a kid last I saw him. Shame. I'll just need your signature here, 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 and here. Got any more fingers for me? Mabel Burgess. Age 37. Right or left-handed? Let's just say no longer applicable. I remember Doc Burgess. Conducted my physical every fiscal quarter. Guess she couldn't keep her hands off her patient's medicine. Still one outstanding bounty. If you've got a finger, here we are. Bertie Cotton. Cause of death. Let's just say overwhelming physical trauma. Bert was the local preacher before Max took over. Always was quick to remind us that we all get what we deserve in the end. Well, that's all three. I must remember to requisition some more fingerprint ink. Here's all the compensation you've earned, plus a bonus.
What's this, Junior Deputy Constable?
You've done such a bang-up job hunting down our former workers that I thought it only proper to deputize you. Congratulations.
How did so many of your people end up marauders?
Let me stop you there. It is official Spacer's Choice policy that all marauders, regardless of prior affiliation to the Spacer's Choice brand, no longer qualify as our people.
That doesn't really answer my question.
Marauders are folk who lost the will to keep working, wandered out into the wilds and gave into their baser instincts. Not everyone's cut out to work in Edgewater. Some turn deserter, some turn marauder. None of them get my sympathy.
Yeah, I heard one of I heard one of your workers shot himself. England, I think.
Uh-huh. I recall young Eugene. Good kid.
Eugene, yeah.
Nice
England,
smile.
not England, Eugene.
Fussy about his health, though. Took a little too much adrenatime. That'll do a number on your brain matter. Says so right on the warning label. Violent psychosis is a well-documented and legally accounted for side effect of adrenatime.
There was something else I wanted to ask you.
What's on your mind? As long as your questions... If this is a setup to a joke, you should know I don't serve Edgewater.
Okay.
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
Damn, that's a lot of experience. Alright. I'm gonna make it safe here. Just be safe. You
Once
know.
we do this, there's no going back.
I know. Technically, there is turning back in case I screwed up somehow.
Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do?
I wouldn't mind hearing your opinion.
I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished.
He tells me Edgewater is going to have without workers and power.
That sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way.
I see your point. I think I'm ready to make a decision.
Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something.
I'm glad you did. I like hearing from you.
Really? I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
Not a problem. Alright. I should save about else. I want to go have to go through that conversation. Science. Okay, I looked at what to do. Like, trying to get the best trying to get the best outcome. Gonna have to convince her to take over Edgewater. At least I don't get shot to death. Oh, I might get shot to death. They might try to shoot me to death, but anyway.
That's the thing about growing old. Your eyes start to fail. Elsewise, I would have seen you for the snake that you are, chopped you into pieces and roasted you on a spit. This is all you're doing. Cutting off my power, killing off my garden. Without refrigeration, my food will spoil, and my flock will starve. I want to ask you this in private, away from the eyes of my flock, so they do not see me lose my temper. Tell me, why did you
This isn't personal a daily epic. I need a power alligator.
You killed my garden, destroyed my community, sentenced my flock to a lifetime of slavery in Edgewater for a power regulator. Well, shit, I wish it was personal. Go talk to Grace and Thomas. Look them in the eye and tell them their life here is over, and the only thing left to do is go back to Edgewater. This is now your responsibility. And you tell Reed Thompson that I will never return to Edgewater. I would rather die among my flowers than live under his management.
I'm willing to deal with Reed for you.
You offering to cross Reed off, huh? This some sort of twisted reparation for what you've done? Or you just looking for a chance to sow some chaos? Kill Reed if you must, or talk him into leaving if you can. He and I are not sharing the same four walls together.
Reed isn't going to just leave his post. I'll need some help convincing him.
Tell Reed that I can make his people healthy again. I can end their plague. Start a new garden right in the cannery. 3 square meals for every man and woman in Edgewater. Tell him how I've made the Vale bloom again. The soil has whispered its secrets to me, and I alone know how to breathe life back into the earth. The secret is human corpses. I've been grinding them up in my fertilizer for years. Marauder, worker, don't matter much to me. The human body is rich with nutrients.
What happens when you run out of corpses?
Edgewater Cemetery's got corpses aplenty. Enough for a generation's worth of crops.
What happened to you? But lady, well, this secret had to come from somewhere.
My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, he was one of the first to fall sick. We had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted on him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and left. That's as much of the story as you need to hear.
No talk.
I think you did the rightest thing you could sending the power back to Edgewater. A lot of people would have suffered otherwise. People I care for. Even if they don't care much for me.
We'll talk later then. Oh boy.
This is a fine day, friend. Power flows through our town like a cool stream of water. I trust Adelaide's people have seen their way to reason. So, when can I expect them back at their post?
I spoke to Adelaide. Won't come back so long as you're here.
Then we are at an impasse. Stewardship over this town has been entrusted to me by Spacer's Choice. I am not perfect. I have made my share of mistakes. But I have done my best for this town.
You let her son die.
Her son got sick with plague a couple years back. Company never gave us enough medication to treat the whole town. So I had to choose, you see. Adelaide's child or someone else's. She's never forgiven me. I don't expect she ever will.
You say you've done your best, but all I see is the town falling to pieces.
I have been holding this town together with both hands. You can't just expect me to leave. I am a Spacer's Choice man. My father was a Spacer's Choice man. Edgewater may not look like much to some buttoned-up freelancer, but it is my home.
Adela's people aren't getting sick with the plague.
I don't believe you. Plague's a reality of life. Best treatment is a good work ethic.
Have you people ever eaten an actual vegetable?
The very notion is just grotesque. A raw vegetable? Why don't you just ask me to go chew the bark off of a tree? We are a Spacer's Choice saltuna cannery. We eat saltuna here, and only saltuna.
That's what That's it? Just saltuna? What exactly are you putting in those cans?
Processed, liquefied, retextured saltuna rendered in a chemical bath, of course. Well, mostly saltuna. We've been experiencing a saltuna shortage, you see. So we've had to improvise. We've added wood chips, some mushrooms, bit of sand, tossed some canid bits in our processor once. It all tastes like saltuna in the
That
end.
can't be healthy.
Health is a state of mind, friend. Afflictions in one's body are reflections of afflictions in one's work ethic and attitude. Now listen, I do not know what pretty rhetoric Adelaide has fed you, but plagues are a simple fact of life.
Adelaide has found a way to grow food. She'll come back if you step down.
You will excuse me for being skeptical. How exactly is Adelaide growing crops in barren soil?
Used to be using human corpses in her fertilizer.
Adelaide has been using dead bodies in her fertilizer? Come to think of it, that's a stroke of brilliance. What a remarkably efficient solution. Recycling Spacer's Choice property long after its date of expiration.
I'm
I
not
was
in the mood.
wondering about those missing bodies in Silas's
I'm not in the mood
cemetery.
to argue. We want her help. Step down.
You're right, I am being obstinate. If the best thing I can do for this town is to stand down, then stand down I shall. If Adelaide's found a way to feed her people and cure the plague, then she deserves this office more than I do. I won't stand in her way. My life here is ended. Give me a little time to settle my affairs. I'm sure Adelaide will be glad to see the back of me.
You don't have to do this, you know.
I do. Adelaide's found a cure for the plague, and she knows how to tend to crop. She's what this town needs.
What are your plans?
Couple months ago, I might have put in for a transfer. It's a big colony. Spacer's Choice has other towns. Now, I couldn't show my face in any.
Why not?
No such thing as an honorable resignation. Suppose I could find a place outside the walls, or put in for early retirement.
You won't last a day outside the walls, you know.
I don't know. I could see myself lasting a week.
This can't be easy for you.
I have always tried to do right by my town. It has never been easy.
Take care.
Where are we headed?
We'll talk later. I wonder if I can remove the scope on this thing.
Look at that. The snake's come
I
back.
talked Reed into leaving. I'm back to Edgewater.
I never thought I'd see the day that Reed Thompson abandoned his post. Suppose we all have a breaking point. Suppose it's time our flock made our way back to Edgewater. We must tend to what remains of the town and carry on with our lives as best we may. You're vexing to me, you know? Injuring us with one hand, helping us with the other. Here, I'm giving you something to leave us be. It's a ransom, you understand, not a reward.
I made a mess of the thing. No, Edgewater's is better off with you running the place.
You're telling me you did all this just to put me in charge of Edgewater? Stranger, you are some kind of twisted. I might turn that old cannery into a garden. Got ourselves a whole cemetery bursting with bodies. I need some time to gather my personals. Long walk back to Edgewater. Got a considerable...
Take care. Loud music! We're leveling up!
What happened?
What's about you, friend?
Sprat fell into a transformer again?
Why do they have to be so loud? I'm gonna pick this.
One of us want to go see what happened?
Alright. Yes, that's all. That's all there is to it. Let's go back to my ship then.
Is this your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome! Does she have a name yet? What's her drive model? Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed of flying on a real ship. Working on a real engine. Belonging to a proper crew. I'm the only decent mechanic Edgewater's got, but... every time I think of going back, I get this...
You've never been
sinking
on
feeling.
a ship before?
I worked on the occasional supply coach in need of repairs. Once I built a little model craft out of spare parts, but Mr. Thompson found out and I had to take it apart. I want to ask you something, and you can say no, but can I come with you? I could tend to your engine, I know my G-valves from my catalyzers, and I can keep your ship singing. And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do that too.
You just
What do you
met me.
think?
Why would you want to go into space with a stranger?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Edgewater was on the verge of collapse before you showed up. You sent them power, and now the town might see another season. And you talked Miss McDevitt into coming back to town. Maybe one day, Edgewater will have a garden where that cannery once stood. You ain't exactly a stranger anymore. You done some kindness hereabouts. I wouldn't mind following somebody like that.
Really want out of Edgewater that badly?
Yeah, I really do. My whole life's been small. I realized that when you walked into town. I've been seeing the same faces every day, the same sky, the same stars. Then I saw this ship. This gorgeous, stately lady with her eyes turned skyward, and I made up my mind to come along with you.
I'll be glad to have you along. Pick cabin, it's yours.
Yes! I mean, thanks. You won't regret this, mister. Captain. I can call you Captain now. Ha! I got a captain. That was a good thing you did, Captain. Helping to bring the deserters and Edgewater folks back together. I hope you rest well on that.
We'll talk later. Alright, let's check out the ship.
Well, I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room. I find myself marveling at the complex simplicity of the Fibonacci spiral. I'm sure you know what that's like. Something vexing you, Captain?
Can we get, remind me, what are your thoughts on the philosophists?
Philosophism's a false religion that stands in contradiction to almost everything we know to be true. They believe all is chaos, in stark contrast to OSI's belief in the plan. But most of the philosophist perversion of Bakonu's thoughts came more than a century after his death.
Any ideas where we can find someone who speaks French in this colony?
I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosophist scholar who fled Terra 2 some years ago. He's an expert on Bakonu. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If anyone in this colony could translate that book, it would be him.
Hey, former what now?
You caught me. Listen, the OSI frowns on fraternization with philosophists. I'd like to keep my associations with our scholar friend quiet.
Seriously? Only one guy in this whole colony that can translate French?
The only one I'm aware of. I suppose we could always just ask random passers-by if they are fluent in it.
Your sarcasm is duly noted and will be reflected on your review.
1,000 pardons, my good captain. I thought we were engaging in witty repartee. Now, as far as tracking down this scholar, we should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place to pick up a ride to Hephaestus, Scylla, even Monarch. All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. Their easily hackable system keeps a registry of all crew manifests for both arrivals and departures.
How is it that a simple figure happens to be such a highly skilled hacker?
Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain, secular skills during my years serving a particular penitentiary flock. I meditated, led sermons, provided guidance to the inmates as needed, of course. I also played prison yard tossball and taught myself a bit about computronic security
How will
systems.
crew manifest help us track down your scholar friend?
I'll comb the last 6 months of departure manifests to track the Philosophist's off-world destination.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Thank you, Captain.
Something you need?
We'll talk later.
Captain, I have detected that Edgewater's power supply is now optimal. I applaud your willingness to invest your time in the local community. What can I do for you, Captain?
I have a power regulator.
Do you know how to install a power regulator?
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Outstanding, Captain. Your aptitude for engineering will prove invaluable in the event of another catastrophic engine failure. Our engine room is located behind you. Across the cargo bay, up
I'll
the
be back.
ladders.
I climb up. Ooh. You can do anywhere. Got your very own ship. Nice. Ooh. I can respec. I've heard about that, but I want to take a look around. Healed? Seriously? Why would I eat the fairy food that... Oh god, I'm over encumbered. Okay, break down. Bang down. Alright, should be good. Sealed. 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 Seriously? All of them are sealed? Seriously? Oh, there's a bed down there, but...
What can I do for you, Captain?
I installed the power regulator.
All systems are operating within acceptable parameters. I am prepared to bring the unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight
Hang on, I
capabilities.
need to take care of something. Okay, so where's this this other companion I've heard about? Ooh, I'll take that.
Welcome back, Captain. All systems are now operating
Let's
within
get out of here.
acceptable We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Ugh, I've been waiting to hear from him.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing. I assure you.
I've been feeling a little lightheaded. Also, I can slow down time.
Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine.
Really?
What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me, help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Kelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay.
Why do I need a nav key to land on our planet?
Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lawless. You'll love it. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Kelly.
What's stopping me from just leaving Helican altogether?
Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead before you make it to the nearest star. Look, I admire your optimism, but the sad truth is you're stuck here. You, me, and the rest of this colony. We're all skating precariously around the edge of oblivion together. None of us are leaving Halcyon alive, so we may as well make it a better place, and we can start by reviving the Hope.
About this Gladys person. How do I know I can trust her?
Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get you a key to Monarch, it's her.
Can't I land somewhere outside Stellar Bay?
In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, I suppose you might survive the experience. Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly aggressive creatures more than capable of tearing you limb from limb. You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient signs of insanity. Trust me, talk to Gladys Kelly.
Fine. I'll go have a word with Gladys.
Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology years ahead of its time. I call it the Holographic Shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's
You want to explain
quarters.
what a holographic shroud is?
Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The shroud changes the user's appearance to mimic that of another. It has limits, first-generation technology, you see, but promising. Exciting to see it in use at last. Very simply, the holographic shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to generate a holographic
You mentioned this scene
projection
has some
around
limitations.
you. Only stands up to a casual scrutiny. Use it too long, bound to flicker, blur, something like that. Movement makes it more likely. Best used in moderation. When you see guards in your path you can't sneak past, for example. Maintain your distance. Act normal. No running, no jumping. Don't draw their attention. If they pay attention, they're more likely to notice
Why do
flaws in the
I need a
hologram.
gadget for this? Can I just steal a uniform or something?
A change of clothes. What is this? Some old spy serial? What inattentive and brainless guard would be fooled by such a shabby disguise? The holographic shroud masks not only your clothes, but your face and fingerprints. It modulates your voice and
How
sweetens
the
your
hell
breath.
does a hologram suiting your breath?
Science, that's how.
Okay. People will actually fall for this? Seems far-fetched.
Ha 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 ha! The beauty is they don't expect it. The shroud is the only one of its kind. We humans have a tendency to overlook the unexpected. Activate the disguise, walk past someone. What do they see? A figure dressed like a fellow employee. Don't act odd. They won't focus on you.
Put it to good use. Thanks.
Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, please select a destination on your navigation terminal.
Got it. Oh, I'm actually quite interested in taking a look around.
Yeah, so this is my hidey spot now. I was looking for a place that was quiet. I figured the kitchen would be louder than the hold, so here I am. Cozy like, ain't it?
Did you learn your trade from your father? Is that like it did when you talked to Reed?
Mostly, yeah. I lived in the maintenance office near all my life. Mr. Thompson never let me forget how funny that was.
I don't see the humor.
He meant funny as in odd. It's not normal for anyone to do as their parents. You take a vocational test. That decides your schooling.
What, did Vault
and
take was running this
When I
place?
tested out for maintenance, everyone figured it was on account of my dad. They were real unhappy with us.
One aptitude test that determines your whole life?
They're powerful good tests. They rattled off this whole list of names who'd worked on them, with fancy bits hanging off them. Doctors and esquires and the thirds. Even if you don't believe they actually catch what everybody's best at, everybody's got to take them. So at least it's fair.
Why would people be unhappy about you gaining a maintenance job?
Because they were hoping their own kid would get the job and get sent back to Edgewater. When folk go away for schooling, they don't get back to where they begun. Not usually. You go straight to your first job, wherever the company's
That's
got enough.
unbelievably cool.
Well, it ain't exactly cruel to have a promise of a paying job. And that's all it is. You go where the company needs you. Where your skills do the
But you
most
actually
good.
are good at this, and you enjoy it.
Well, I'm good at making things work the way they ought. Not so much at doing such to somebody else's schedule. There's times I'm working deep in the guts of a loader, getting it all running perfect. Then I look up to see it's tomorrow, and I've blown another deadline. Anyhow, I was happy to get back home. I didn't care much for schooling.
You didn't like your classes?
Oh, there were a whole lot of reading, not nearly enough doing. Like, before they'd issue you a wrench, they wanted an essay on the design of different wrenches. Then there'd be quizzes on company regulations for storage and maintenance of wrenches.
What do you do in your time off?
As soon as I got permission, I spent all my time in the machine shop. They had all manner of parts, but they didn't want me using them, so I had to sneak them sometimes. I even slept in there. Had a hammock tied up in the rafters. Before I left, I installed a little skylight for myself, so I could see the stars.
That's it? You didn't spend time with friends?
Can't say I had many. Mostly I kept to myself. Going to the community center to hear music, be in a crowd with people knocking into you. It all just made me want to run away. When my roommates tried to talk, I'd get so nervous I'd be drenched in sweat. It was easier for everybody when I stayed off on my own. I doubt any of them
At school, you
remember me
moved
now.
straight back to Edgewater?
Yep, nothing much had changed. Everything was a little grayer, a little dirtier. Dad met me at the shuttle and gave me a big ol' hug. I noticed straight away that he was moving slower and stiffer. He made a little grunt when I squeezed.
He wasn't that little, was he?
No, but a whole life taking care of Edgewater by his lonesome, working with all kinds of chemicals, it wears on a body. When I left for school, everything got harder for him. I used to help him lift the heavy things, and my hands didn't shake for the fine detail work.
Did you get much time with it after you back from school?
About a year. I tried to do more of the work, so he could rest. His heart gave him pains. Dad never said that he loved me, you know? I knew on account of him showing it. How he'd stay up late to help with my projects, or listen to my fretting. Oh gosh. Look at the time. Sorry to bend your ear so long. And I got so much to do before this ship's in decent shape.
What do you think of the ship?
That's in pretty good shape, considering how hard Mr. Hawthorne ran it. It's a Yakita LHA 120, A2 model, I'm pretty sure. The Block 2 design scooshed in extra cargo space, but didn't change the stock engines. Probably a touch underpowered, huh?
Accurate in all particulars. I conclude you are Edgewater's board-certified mechanic.
Apparently, Ada's the one who actually flies the ship.
Fly-by-wire's pretty normal. Or leastways, that's what I read in the trades. I've never been on a real ship before. Hello! I am not a board-certified mechanic, but my dad was. He taught me all he knew. Do you understand?
Speech recognition is one of the many skills I have been programmed to simulate.
You're not simulating it, you're doing it! I asked a question and you answered it.
I am gratified you consider this facsimile convincing.
What do you think about Parvati? Is it safe to fly now if we got the regulator?
I don't see any holes in the hull. I'll take a good squint at her, make sure everything's tip-top. But I think we're cooking with plasma torches. You can do that, you know. My dad taught me how to make grilled cheese sandwiches with a plasma torch.
Break time's over. Oh. Ah, there we go.
I could probably spend years fixing this boat.
Break time's over. Yep, put away the weapon. Put away the weapon. I don't want to shoot anyone by accident. Really? Okay, that's the bathroom. That's a room. Very, empty. That's another room. Part 1. Index of banned literature. Part 1, various qualifying considerations. Part 2, principal rules of restrictive management. Part 3, morals and maxims of banning unethical literature. Part 4, a proof of the grand archetype and predestination for a evaluation of the ties listed here within. Part 5, consequences, the mind and the will of man when led astray. Part 6, official list of banned titles. Part 7, prerequisites for advisory investigation, outing and penalizing of offenders. The journal Maximilian de Soto, 41. So these journal pages are illegible to anyone except Vicar. Maximilian de Soto. Thanks for the ammo. Doctrinal Studies 539 of Equity and Equations. These textbooks have been out of print for almost half a century. Margins are filled with scribbled notes and many passages have been underlined. Some pages have come loose, the glue now yellowed and cracked along the spines. Tossball trading cards. In mint condition, most of the cards represent players from the Hephaestus hammers and the tile backers. The art decides to tossball. Possible to put down Order Scientific Inquiry, Office of Literature. This endorsement have been improved. Onto Cleo's Darlings, signed by Seymour Whitlock, who held the record for most on the field fatalities for 3 consecutive seasons. Jesus Christ.
I could spend hours reflecting on the secret workings of the universe. Little else in this colony offers such a relaxing pastime. So, tell me what's on your mind.
I like to know
excel
something.
at confessional listening.
I'd like to know about something about those I'm flying with. What's your story?
Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar with a violently enthusiastic disposition.
Violently enthusiastic disposition?
That's what my parents called it. I grew up in a pit of a town much like Edgewater. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need to solve the equation. My passion...
Were they now
didn't sit
religious?
well. On the contrary. They internalized the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. They had a pure faith, a faith that brought joy to them regardless of the situation. I envied that. I wanted that peace. I thought if I became a vicar, I could find it. Or at the very least, Find out why I lacked
But
it.
weren't they proud when you became a figure, at least?
They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. Some people pursue the clergy for power, prestige, but that was not me.
If you get help by following the plan, then everything you do is part of it, right?
The plan is not one rigid path. There are a variety of multitudes contained within it. Our paths have variance, but we'll end up adhering to it, whether we like it or not. Some choices make the path smoother, some rougher. You can even go outside the lines, but the further outside you go, it's like an unbreakable elastic band. It will only stretch so nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar with a violently enthusiastic
There are some things I don't understand about your religion.
Yes?
But besides the grand architect and the plan, what else do you believe?
Scientism, as its name implies, believes that nature abhors equality. The strong survive, and the weak perish for the betterment of the whole. And reason, not emotion, is the seat of all morality. Wisdom means accepting the vicissitudes of life with grace and dignity.
That sounds like a cruel belief system.
I prefer to think of it as looking at reality for what it truly is, not how we'd like. Yes? Nothing too out of the ordinary. Yes?
Tell me about the plan again?
The simple version is this. The force which we call the Grand Architect created the universal equation that underlies and defines everything in the universe. Everything flows from the equation, or in layman's terms, the grand plan. Is the Grand Architect a consciousness? A natural force? Did it create the equation on purpose? The answers to these questions don't really matter. The equation, the plan, is all that matters. Contentment is found by accepting one's role in the plan.
That's a convenient way to control the advances.
It can be, if abused. But that can be said about anything. However, in the case of the Board and Halcyon, sadly, I believe you are correct.
Seems quite trusting of you to just sign on without knowing anything about me.
I have run headlong into too many walls in my pursuit of the truth. This book is my last hope, and you were my only hope of getting it translated.
What if the book doesn't have the answers you're looking for?
I honestly don't know what I'd do. This quest has consumed me for the better part of my life. I fear there's nothing else left to me. What about you? What's your story?
I was still calling on the Hope. Scientist named Well saved me.
And how did he do that?
He saw my body from the Hope at the edge of the colony and thawed me out.
Well, you do seem different than every other colonist. Let's pretend for the moment I believe you. What are you going to do now?
I'm helping him recover more of the chemicals he needs to save the rest of the colonists.
That seems a dangerous proposition. Why risk your life now that it's been returned to you?
My friends are on the Hope.
Oh, I see. You have my condolences.
Tell me again about the book we picked up that's in French.
Bokonu, the author, had some interesting theories about man's perception of reality that I thought could be applied to our attempts to decipher the plan. Unfortunately, he was also one of the founders of the Philosophist school of thought, so the book is banned in this colony.
Let's talk about this personal quest of yours.
Of course. Are you ready to break into security on the Groundbreaker?
Remind me why we want to do that?
If I can access the data cartridge from the terminal in security, I can easily hack into their arrivals and departures registry. That'll give us dates, times, and the crew manifests for every registered ship. I'll comb the last 6 months of departure manifests to track the Thank you, Captain.
Empty room. What the hell? Stern, older man with warm eyes. Wait. Now. Modern steel wrench in you. This book is heavy, geared with doodles and margins. This is not Epituna. Gain up 2 blocks. Photo modified tools with unique mechanical usages. Digging around there would be an easy way to lose a finger to a saw or tooth blade. Abigail. First wrench Dad ever gave me. She's been a friend ever since. Oh, you're a big one. Yay.
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance?
No one to see about the mechanical gathering dust in the janitor's closet.
The unit is a cleaning SAM. Hawthorne brought it on board some cycles ago, I'm sure with the intent to modify it, but I've never seen it up and running. Alex likely recorded progress notes detailing his efforts to modify SAM. If you check the terminal in your captain's quarters, we may be able to determine what work remains in order for SAM to properly operate.
Got a minute to talk?
I have lots of minutes. Many minutes.
What if you
Unlimited minutes, perhaps. Providing an adequate power source, I can function
What if you don't have a power
indefinitely.
source?
I prefer to think of it as being in a state of slumber, perhaps for an indefinite duration of time. Do you think that is what it's like for the colonists on the Lost Hope?
I guess so.
When I simulate myself in such a scenario, I do not find it to be desirable. I think my self-preservation protocols incline me to desire the
And
alternative.
what might that be?
Traveling the system with you, Captain.
That didn't help your last captain much.
I assure you, not for a lack of trying. Captain Hawthorne did not like to listen to my suggestions. In that way, he was a lot like you. As you may be aware, Captain Alex Hawthorne was a smuggler of some repute. I failed to predict the likely outcome of his reckless behavioral patterns. I should have predicted that. In our travels together, Alex liked to pass time by, as he called it, tinkering to improve my design.
There been other captains of this ship?
If you mean, was Captain Hawthorne my first? Yes, he was.
Like what, something
How
else?
can I be of assistance?
I'd like to know learn more about the colony.
What part of the colony would you like to discuss?
Unina's orbital lab.
Ah, yes. As Dr. Wells is a wanted outlaw, he built his laboratory into an asteroid. Orbital destinations can be challenging to land on. His more so than most.
Why's that?
The outlaw scientist known as Dr. Phineas V. Wells has taken a measure of precautions to make the lab undetectable to those hunting him. Even knowing the location, my systems resist my orders to go where I instruct them.
What do you know about Ulinas?
There is a bounty on his head, one with a markedly high reward amount. Shall I engage the laser weapons system?
No, do not do that.
A sensible choice, as we do not have any laser weapons.
I want to ask about
Of course. What part of the colony
The
would you
Groundbreaker.
like? We're cleared to dock with the Groundbreaker if that's your desired destination. If we're going there, please be sure all docking forms have been filed in triplicate and fees have been paid. The Mardettes take their docking laws quite seriously.
You can take care of that for us, right?
I can, yes. Let me add that to my list of 1,435,498 tasks I am simultaneously executing in order to run
and
our
do you know
ship.
what that the lip?
Order does not compute. Nevertheless, I will
Oh.
endeavor to execute my current and future tasks without...
Yeah, give me this bill on the
limit.
Groundbreaker.
The Groundbreaker was Halcyon's original colony ship. It has since been repurposed as a service station in the Lagrange point of the system.
Ah,
Freighters often
I know it looks like she's
deliver or
blinking,
pick up
but
goods
her eye-
from
it
the
looks like her eyes
Groundbreaker en
look
route
low
to
right
other
for a second.
destinations. The city ship hosts an array of cargo bays, factories, housing sections, and more. Many of Halcyon's companies maintain office spaces with stationed representatives in what is considered a truly neutral territory within the system. I have filed the required docking forms in triplicate, and fees have been paid.
Let's talk about something
How
else.
can I be of assistance? What part of the colony
Terra 2.
would you... Where in Terra 2?
Emerald Vale and Edgewater.
Edgewater is the sparkling county seat of Emerald Vale. Or it was when first built. Since then, neglect and time have worn away her shiny veneer. The town is near the coordinates where Captain Hawthorne died. It would not be unfortunate if something, like say, a plague, were to wipe Emerald Vale from the face
What do
of
you
the
think of
planet.
the townspeople?
You mean the ones who did not answer my distress call with medical assistance, but instead came to issue my injured captain a parking ticket? I'm sure they are wonderful humans who don't deserve to be wiped out by starvation or a
How's
devastating
Edgewater faring
plague.
since we left it?
Since you diverted power to Edgewater, the botanical lab shut down, and the deserters were forced to return to town. Meanwhile, the cannery's output increased, enabling the town's population to prosper. Thank you for nothing, Captain.
Would you have me done? Kill everyone?
I cannot say. First, I need to adjust my memory interpretation sensors, but I think my answer is yes.
Seriously, I convince me to step down.
How can I be of assistance? What part of the colony?
Monarch.
Where in Monarch?
Stellar Bay.
Ah, Monarch. The armpit of the Halcyon system. Her last functioning port town is Stellar Bay. Well, that is if you don't count
Why is this
Sublight
project
Smuggler's Port at
being
Bulbrook.
blockaded?
I believe it has something to do with the planet being an uninhabitable wilderness, and a lawless land with no corporate presence. You may wish to survey the residents in Stellar Bay for additional data points.
Smuggler's Port?
It's Sublight run for the purpose of shipping contraband, and before you ask, I don't know the coordinates, so I can't. How can I be of... What part of the colony...
So I got
would
something
you...
else.
How can I be of
I'm in the mood for
assistance?
some entertainment.
Certainly, Captain. What would you like to hear?
Ada, tell me a joke.
Why was the chemist sad? Because all her beakers are gone.
Okay, that's actually pretty funny. Ada, play my favorite song.
Now playing a Spacer's Choice advertisement.
Not my
jingle.
favorite song!
It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's choice.
That's not my favorite song.
Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated to label this or another board-certified jingle their favorite
That's enough
song.
for now.
As you wish, Captain. Take care. I require a functioning cap.
Alright, I'll just... Okay. Captain's turret is right above me. Cool. Whoa! At least there's a dreamed of an independent life without board oversight. You taught them an important lesson. Never to it. Seriously? They really need to add more variety. Hey, looks like a sort of like. Ooh, nice. That's a lot of experience. This is a search term. Sam. First Sam result. Do not forget, you found discarded Sanitarian and maintenance auto mechanical emerald veil scrap heap during your last job. It should not be too difficult to get up and running. With a few key modifications, I can envision a combat capable variant. Some might say a clean, mean killing machine. Should be fun. Move a factory standard part, study steeper was successful. Delivery a combat modified replacement part as the Seabear has been delayed. Progress set back is estimated to be now to be a solid 3 months. Not like I have more pressing matters to tend to, but I do. Given a hop on delivery, the part is lost in transit. It's not turning up anytime soon. But good news. I heard from a fellow who knows the broker who overcharged me for the information regarding the location of an asset super I can flitch. The part was sent to an old storage facility Roseway. Now that I will go back to that bit. Good thing on the abandoned it years ago. Now pick it up following this next. I'll pick it up following this next pit stop back to Emerald Vale. Wells wanted me to cover some personal interest details to come later. That's me. Logs. Log number titled Drinkway. Note to self. Remember this later. No better. Ada. Remind me weekly to check this log until I tell you to stop. Yes, I mean continually. No, Ada. Not if I'm dead. Why would you even ask me that? Back to my point. I saw it activate with my own 2 eyes. It's a blindly powerful weapon in Wells' labs. Just sitting there for the taking. If the gray hair were to look right for, forget about it, maybe. Or if I asked a smidgen more nicely, he called us a shrink ray, but he wouldn't let me test that claim later at, after I lost my temper. Said he was inspired to create by the achievements of other scientists who dared to push the boundaries of human knowledge and decency and laws. I had heard of rumors of fantastical weapons like this one, weapons that push the boundaries of the mind and science's cutting edge. But I figured they were just stories, to be honest. Laying eyes on Wells' shrink ray first time is enough to make a fellow wonder if there's more to the rumors. More to be had. Hammer power! Hammer time! Last time I got slashed, was imbibing at the last hope on the groundbreaker. Look, Udon was really free with the drinks. He seems like an okay fellow. I shamelessly but subtly eavesdropped on 2 Mardets yammering about a mad scientist some years back who claimed he made a huge discovery that would change the fate of the colony. But none of us had heard that before. But here's the good part. The Mardet said the mad scientist kept yelling about Howard's power, something similar. A strange weapon, the special power created by crazy lab coat, sure fits the bill. We know the one the weapon satisfied Wells. Lab market leads. Why won't Wells just give me the shrink ray to me? Last minute to death at the lab to Taurus and back. Let the record show I did apologize for shouting him down. A lot of times, actually, by archetype being damned, it's just sitting there, neglected and gathering dust. I should be coming to and thank him without asking permission or breaking expensive equipment when he said it wasn't ready yet, and even if it were, he couldn't entrust it to someone like me. What does it even mean, I ask? That I'm not trustworthy enough? That I'll use it to wipe out the good, hard-working parts of the colony like some sort of moralist cycle? I'll meant to maintain some questionable associations by a strict code of me, myself, and mine. What's not to expect that? Exactly. Not to wait until Wells forget things he's misplaced it. In the meanwhile, I have been tracking down additional rumors pertaining to one of these science weapons, the Royal Halcon. If that's what holds true, my next step will be to check with the black market merchants and the groundbreaker in Farbrook. Authorities on red messages. 2 by 4. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention in my previous message, silly me, mainly a copy of my favorite serial, The Space Adventures of Singularity Steel. So it's about a dashing space pirate with a Hardwell steel. Not exactly broad proved, so don't go showing around it to your spacer buddies. I hope it will amuse you while you're out adventuring. And similarities to certain someone are entirely intentional. Winky face, winky face. Here is Alex. I can't tell you how pleased I am to hear from you. Your message was hilarious. I'm delighted by your sense of humor and the tale of your hijinks. I hope your terminal will cooperate for the foreseeable future. By the by, I was scraping Groundbreaker's comms network for the tasty little tidbits, and I noticed you declined to dock at Edgewater's landing pad and instead touched down in the wilderness. You rugged individualist, you. I only pray that idiot Thompson was getting you any trouble. Anyway, I hope your meeting down in Terra 2 proves fruitful. I look forward to corresponding with greatest regularity. Your best friend, Udon. Sorry. Alex, I know where you raised, but I had to guess it may be a barn, because anyone with a molecular disintegrating will know it's unforgivably rude to ignore the ardent, sincere messages from one's friends. Best, Udon. Yes, please respond. Dear Alex, hello, hope this finds you well. It was a pleasure to see you in my office again last week. Once again, I'm terribly sorry about the impounding mix-up. How could it happen to a second time? Honestly says, I swear, regretfully unreliable. Just like your ship. Bob, you've given some thought to that thing we discussed, that whalers fellow. I'm so sorry to press, but I had the strangest tickling feeling that you already do know him. And if you just tell me where he is, well, it'd be marvelous for our friendship, wouldn't it? And looking forward to seeing you again, Wingman. Winky face. Your dear friend, Udon. Dear Alex. Hello, Udon here. Udon Bredford. We met when I accidentally impounded your ship. My silly fat fingers embarrassed me once again. I hope that wasn't terribly too inconvenient for you. It was such a pleasure for me. I tremendously appreciate your forbearance in not throwing me. You really are quite the gentleman. If you're ever in the Groundbreaker's airspace, well, space, please don't hesitate to look me up. Last officer's Spectrum Vodka. Perhaps we could try every color, you know. A really tiny one on. Let me know. Your new friend, Udon. En route.
Make yourself at home, Captain.
And I will. It's very comfy in here. So where is it again? And what do you know? I almost leveled up. I gotta look it up real quick. Clean the machine. Oh. Alright, let's try this. Where the hell is Roseway? Oh, okay, Terra 2. Okay, move it between the escape. Ooh, okay.
You're now in orbit above Edgewater, Captain. Please avoid damaging yourself or others while you are out.
Got it.